We're on the road to WrestleMania, and well, this show is certainly the pieces for what's to come in Mania. What's going on, guys? Bustle6 here, back to another video, and today I'm here to do my Smackdown review from Washington, D.C. And yeah, the show was fine. It was just kind of there, in all honesty. They are starting to put in the pieces for the WrestleMania puzzle. While there were some things I didn't mind, the show was just kind of average to mid at some points. With that being said, without wasting time, let's get right into a review. Bloodline come down, which is Roman, Jimmy, Solo, and Heyman. And they come down. Roman says, "Acknowledge me," and here comes Cody. Cody comes down. Now, I have stated my claim that I understand the ambition they're going for here with Cody finishing the story of become a world champion, accomplishing what his father did, accomplishing what Dusty wanted to do, always wanted to become WWE champion but never could, and all that stuff. I get it. Why are they making Cody cry almost every 5 minutes? I understand you want to have your hero have an emotional backstory, but at the same time, every time his father gets up, it's always so emotional. I understand. I completely understand. Dusty is one of the most influential figures in all of wrestling. I understand that. He's meant so much to everyone else. Sasha Banks, Becky, Bailey, all these other guys, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I understand that. But it feels like they're just kind of using his name for the hell of it, either to get cheap pops or get cheap heat. And it kind of feels like it's dragging and getting mundane at this point. Probably just me. Probably just me. But I'm sorry. I, I understand why. I understand why they did it. And this promo, this face off, had its moments, but I just really ain't really invested in this feud. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a good match. It probably is. Roman's done some of the best work, is doing the best work he's ever done. And Cody, when he's not trying to cry and be insincere about everything, he's a good worker, but it feels like he's trying way too hard. It doesn't look like he's comfortable with the source material he's giving. And not to mention, he looks like he's insecure about things. There was some fine stuff. It's just I don't know. This really didn't congeal with me. Roman tells everyone to leave. He drops the titles in front of Cody and says, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" And they do their little their spit and spatter at each other. And Cody's like, "Well, I remember a couple of years ago I had to do I had a little indie promotion with a couple of buddies of mine, and we had over 10 not 10, 100,000 people." He's talking about All Out that happened. And Roman says, "Have you challenged for these titles? And have you main evented WrestleMania?" Roman says, "I was groomed when I was 7 years old by your dad." And then he talks about Dusty, and he says, "Well, Dusty always said a lot of things about everyone else, but he's never said anything about you. Not at least that I know of." And he says, "If Dusty didn't teach you anything, then I will." And like wants to extend this, wants to have a handshake, but Cody says a couple other things, and there you go. That's about it. I can't take Cody seriously with his neck tattoo. Another thing I would like to notice, I'm sorry, the neck tattoo is very stupid. It's very stupid. I'm not the only one that says that statement. It looks really bad. Cool. Cody's winning. If Cody doesn't win at Mania, then what do you do with Roman? Honestly, like it's kind of written right there and then. Unless they want to go 1,000 days, you gotta give the title to Cody in some capacity. So Liv took on Rhea. I was totally fine during this. Unfortunately, Dominic was there. It wasn't bad. Rhea mostly dominated, which was kind of bizarre. Riptide takes Cloverleaf, and there you go, Rhea wins. There was really not much to this match, which is kind of shocking. Then the Bloodline are backstage. More tension between the Bloodline because they're talking about where Jay's at. We get a recap of Ray vs. Cross last week. Then Ray and Dominic are backstage, and all of a sudden Santos shows up, and Santos is like, I would beat the hell out of you for what you've done for, disrespecting Lucha Libre. And I said, I understand, but you know what? How about we have a match later tonight? And there you go, and then Santos blows a kiss to Rhea. There you go. So Dom's going to be taking on Santos. Okay. Oh, well, actually, we get to that match. Santos took on Dominic with Rhea. I like Santos. I'm actually glad that they're actually giving him a bit of a face run, in all honesty, because he kind of deserves it, in all honesty, because he's been pretty damn over. And the respect that him and Ray have had is pretty damn cool. I don't care about Dominic. He's trying. He is gaining heat. I'll give him credit, but I'm sorry. I just don't care about him. He distracts with breast knucks, then Rhea hits a riptide on the outside, frog splash 1, 2, 3, and Dominic wins. Then he takes the mask that Santos brought down, the Ray's mask that Santos brought down. He rips it up. Ray shows up. He says, "Give me the mask," and Dominic says, "Hit me." Ray doesn't. He gets the mask, and then he gets hit with the cheap shot by Dominic. And there you go. So we got footage of Sammy on Instagram earlier, hyping himself up, and fans are behind him and all that stuff. Drew comes out, and he's upset that he doesn't have a Mania match, so he wants Gunther. Well, then Sheamus comes out, and he's upset that, really, you want to treat me like that after all I've done for you, and Drew's like, well, what do you want me to do, wipe your ass for you? And he says, and Sheamus was like, well, we don't have parents, but I treat you like, we don't have the same parents, but I treat you like a brother. And he says, you know what, Drew, I think at the end of the day, you're just a backstabbing master. And all of a sudden, LA Knight comes out, and he says he wants a Mania match, but he doesn't have one. Then the New Day show up, and Xavier's like, well, you want to have a match at Mania, well, you can't even have a match on SmackDown. You haven't won a match on SmackDown. He actually did, Woods. It happened a few months ago when he was feuding with Bray. Thank God he's out of the Bray feud. Unfortunately, someone else has to replace him. I'll get to that here in a bit. We get a big, and then all of a sudden, Cross comes down. We get a big melee, and then the end, Cross stands tall after attacking Sheamus. We're in a 5-way next week. Whoever wins gets to face Gunther at Mania. So we get footage earlier of Shayna and Ronda brawling with Natty and Nox. And there you go. Apparently, Ronda was in a sling, quote unquote. Tegan Nox with Natty took on Shayna with Ronda, and the crowd goes mild. Look, I love Natty. I really do. I like Shayna. Shayna being a complete afterthought and being nothing more than just Ronda's lackey. No one really cares about Nox, and no one cares about Ronda, and we don't really have a chance to care about Shayna, and everyone loves Natty. Therefore, the match was kind of pointless, and in the end, we get a cross arm bar, and there you go, Shayna wins. And Ronda was being pointless as she typically tends to be. Then Caleb Braxton looked great tonight, as always. Then Imperium are backstage, and Gunther says, I'll take on all challengers of Benny, and I'll still be Intercontinental Champion. Please have him break Honky Tonk Man's record, please. That's all I want to say. Lashley comes out, recap what happened on Monday, and he calls out Bray. Images appear on screen, Uncle Howdy attacks, Bobby fights back, goes for a spear, lights out, and Howdy disappears. This is going to absolutely butcher Bobby. This is going to know. He looked visibly pissed, and he looks done with it, and I don't blame him. I actually don't blame Brock for wanting to face Omos. That is saying a lot in a sense I never thought I had to say. So, Jesus Christ, that match is going to be terrible. Bobby deserves better, in all honesty. Roman, Jimmy, and Heyman are backstage. And, Jimmy is saying Jay doesn't he says, don't talk to me anymore. And Roman's like, be with Solo, take out Sammy, and Jay will come home. And then Jimmy leaves. And Roman says, if Jay doesn't show up next week, I ain't blaming Sammy, I'm blaming Jimmy. That was pretty good stuff there. Then we get to the main event. Solo with Jimmy took on Sammy. It was fine. It was a fine match. Sammy was over as hell with the crowd. More tension between the bloodline. The plot thickens. And in the end, Jimmy distracts. We get a Simone spike, and there we go. Solo wins. We get a beatdown afterwards. They look like they're going to Pillmanize Sammy's neck with a steel chair, but Jimmy says, no, I'll do it. But Sammy retaliates, hits a haluva kick, and he goes for a chair shot, but he throws the chair at Solo, but Solo blocks it, and Sammy runs to the crowd, and Roman is displeased backstage. So there we go. The tension between the bloodline continues as we move forward into Mania. Now, I have a special kind of video that I have for you guys, but I might have to wait a couple days and for you guys to figure out what I'm going to do, even though I may have told a couple people already. So be on the lookout for a little special video that I plan on doing in the next couple days or so. So anyways, that was my review of SmackDown. What did you guys think about this review? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big red subscribe button, and tap that little bell so when I upload, you will be notified. Thank you guys for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. I'll talk to you guys next video. Peace out.